Welcome to The Adult Man. My name is William, and today I'm going to be reviewing this Nordgreen watch. Actually, not just this one. I'm also going to be reviewing this Nordgreen watch. So let's. Sorry, I got an itch. I guess I'm going to be reviewing these 3 Nordgreen watches. I'm going to be reviewing this one too. Guys, we have 6 Nordgreen watches, 3 models. I'm going to get into all of them. Let's hit it. Guys, before we start, I just want to say, if you could go ahead and do me a favor and please subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a ton and I really, really appreciate it. I also want to say that this video is sponsored by Nordgreen, and we're taking a look at 6 of their watches right now, and we're doing a full in-depth review. You can decide for yourself whether or not you like the looks. I'm going to be going through each watch, talking about what I like and what I don't like, and you can ultimately make that decision whether or not these are worth it for you. You can make that decision at the end of the video. So I'm going to break them down and really be as objective as possible, talk about some of the pros, some of the cons behind these 3 different models. Again, today I'm looking at the Philosopher, the Pioneer, and the Native. So kind of their 3 main ones. They also have the Infinity, but last I heard, they're not really continuing that model. So we're not going to review it. We're not going to talk about it because in the future that might not be available. So to talk a little bit about Nordgreen as a brand, as a company, all of these watches are designed by the legendary Danish designer Jacob Wagner. He's been doing Scandinavian minimalist design for years and years, decades. He's behind a lot of creative products from Bang & Olufsen, also Alessi. So the classic, Bauhaus Scandinavian minimalist look, he's behind a lot of that, and he does great work across the field, but really he's been drilling down on watches with Nordgreen. Now, Nordgreen has been totally carbon neutral in their offices and with their shipping. So that's something they started off doing right off the bat. That's built into their company. And in addition to that, they also, whenever you buy a watch, you can donate to one of 3 causes. Those 3 causes that they support, they go to protecting rainforests in South America, providing clean water for people in need in the Central African Republic. And also you can provide, like if you buy one watch, it will provide 1 month of education for a child in India. So anytime you buy a watch, you just go and type in the barcode on the back or the registration number on the back. And then you can go ahead and choose which of those 3 programs you want to give back to, which I think is super awesome. And there's a couple different companies out there that are starting to build this into their whole sales process. And part of their, it's part of the DNA of the company. I really love that. And so it just makes it easy to support them and easy to know that they have their future focused, which I really appreciate. The first watch I want to talk about is the Pioneer. Now I'm talking about this one first because it's their newest model and it's also the most different from the rest of what they have. The Pioneer here, as you can see, is more based on a chronograph look. So it's a big departure. The other Nordgreen watches are all just basically like flat, minimalist design, not too much going on the dial in a very elegant way. But with the Pioneer, you're seeing 2 sub-dials. Now, these do work with the bottom and the top and bottom pushers. So you do have a chronograph movement, although it's definitely more for style because you're not getting very precise readings based on the fact that there are no numbers on the dial. So you still have that minimalist look, but combined with a little bit of the extra complication of a chronograph, which is super cool in my opinion, and I really like it. So I have the white dial with the silver case, and I also have the black dial with a gunmetal case. There's also options to have a navy dial as well as a rose gold case. So pretty much across the board for all Nordgreen watches, you can I believe you can find any of their models in the steel, gunmetal, rose gold, and in some cases, like with the Native, you can also find it with a gold case, but that's not the case. That's not true. That's not the case with the Pioneer. The Pioneer is the largest of the Nordgreen watches at 42 millimeters in diameter and 11.9 millimeters in height. It also has the best water resistance at 5 atmospheres compared to the Philosopher and Native. They have 3 atmospheres, which is good for if you get caught out in the rain, but you cannot take it in the shower, whereas with the Pioneer, if you wanted to, you could. The Pioneer has a domed sapphire crystal, which is the best crystal of any of the Nordgreen watches. So you're seeing definitely in their newest model, you're seeing a trend towards higher quality materials, different designs that are more. You can see that they're coming into their own more and more. It runs on a Japanese Miyota movement, as is the same with all Nordgreen watches as well. The thing I like most about the Nordgreen Pioneer, I like the depth of the dial, and it has many different layers. So as you kind of look into it, you kind of get lost in it and look through it. And I just think it's a really cool look for the dial. I also love that it's a domed sapphire crystal, the kind of rounded shape. Just it's a really unique design. You can tell from the product shots and kind of some of the video that I'm showing you right now, just how sleek the design is, and it looks really great in person too. What I don't like about the Nordgreen Pioneer is when you're out in direct sunlight, you do get a pretty good amount of glare on the crystal, and it kind of makes it hard to see in certain situations. But usually if it's not noon, I didn't really have much problem with that, going around, and I don't really notice it too much as I wear it around. The next watch I'm going to talk about is the Nordgreen Philosopher. Now, there's some pretty cool things about this that you might not notice at first sight, so I'm definitely going to point those out, as well as talk about what I like and I don't like. Now, you can get this watch in 40 millimeters in diameter, which is what I have on now, and I'll mainly be talking about. But you can also pick it up in 36 millimeters in diameter, which is awesome if you're a guy with more slender wrists. This design is super well thought out, and it is the only watch that I have where the dial is 40 millimeters in diameter, but the actual lug-to-lug width is shorter than that. It's like 39.9 or 39.8 millimeters lug-to-lug. I don't have any other watches that are like that, and part of that is because the lugs here kind of shoot out or jut out the back a little bit, and you'd think maybe that would make the wearing experience a little uncomfortable, but it doesn't at all. All of the leather straps are made with genuine leather, which is lower grade, but when you're feeling them and you have them on, like you can tell this watch, I've had it for about 6 months, and the leather is holding up really well. The whole thing is very comfortable to wear. So all of their watches, very comfortable. The mesh band is good. The silicone band on the Pioneer is really cool. So overall, I like the bands a lot. And especially with the Philosopher, even though it has a shorter lug-to-lug width, it's still very comfortable to wear. What I like about the Nordgreen Philosopher is the well thought out design. It's definitely a more angular look than the Native. So if you're kind of veering between two different minimalist watches, it's really up to you whether you like the more angular design of the Philosopher or if you like the more rounded design of the Native. What I don't like about the Philosopher is that it has a mineral crystal, and that flat mineral crystal on top, I'm worried that if you bang it against a wall or a corner, it could get scratched up, and then you'd have to use polishing compound to get it out if you wanted to. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but all in all, I think it's a great value watch. Again, it's up to you whether you like the more angular look of the Philosopher, or if you are and I'm gonna show this later, but if you like the more rounded look of the Native. Personally, for me, I'm a bigger fan of the Native, and that's why I saved it for last. I have 2 models of the Native, and I really love this minimalist style. It's basically a totally clean dial. I have the navy color on gunmetal with a mesh band, and I also have just the silver with the white dial and a brown leather band. Now, all these bands are interchangeable, so I can swap out this silicone band and put it on the Native if I want. Any of these are all 20 millimeter band width, so I can use them for across the board wherever I want. The Native is 40 millimeters in diameter, and it's very slim at 8.35 millimeters in height, so it really doesn't stick off the wrist too much. It stays very low profile, which I also really like. What I like about the Native is that domed sapphire crystal and that whole rounded minimalist look that the watch has. There isn't really that much that I don't like here. Again, it's all about the design. If you don't like this minimalist design, well, then this watch isn't for you. However, for me, the Japanese Miyota movement, the sapphire crystal, the dome sapphire crystal, that kind of puts this one above the Philosopher in my opinion. And of course, the Pioneer is a totally different story. That's a wildly different design. So I don't really think those fit in the same category. But for me, between the Native and the Philosopher, I'd go Native, just because really that dome sapphire crystal. So here are my overall thoughts on Nordgreen. If you like minimalist design, if you want a really classy watch that pretty much goes with any sort of outfit, I mean, right now, I got the green shirt, the white shirt, I could pretty much wear any of these bands, any of these straps, with any outfit I have. Now, sometimes you want something a little different, like a tool watch, and definitely you go camping. I wouldn't take these camping. These are definitely more dressy watches, or more, they're not necessarily dressy, but more casual and more for style. So if you're looking for a tool watch, there's other options out there. But if you really want a classy minimalist watch that pretty much goes with anything in your wardrobe, I highly, highly recommend Nordgreen. I also love the fact that they give back to the community. They give back to people in need. They are totally climate neutral. So they have strong morals. They have a strong position on what they want to see in the world, and they're making it happen. So I love that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please tap the subscribe button down below. I have links to all of our written Nordgreen reviews where you can kind of go into a lot more depth and get into our thoughts a lot more. That's over at theadultman.com. And I also have those links in the description below. I've also linked each of these Nordgreen watches so you can go directly to their website and learn more. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay manly.